Due to this is exclusive, Chef finally realizes he'll use this discovery to reclaim his office peak, meeting stars along the way. Chef is feeling on top of the world, but didn't watch the road, and bam. He got a close encounter with a big truck. Ru'an witnessed the whole thing and panicked a little, so he decided to go to the river and dump the evidence, just like a character in a movie. Suddenly, Little Horse called, shouting he was going to visit Ru'an's house for a chat, joking he was going to give him a piece of his mind. Ru'an was ready to retort when a light bulb lit up in his mind. Hey, this idea could work to dodge responsibility. But he needed Julia's. Ru'an decided to test Julia's attitude and found out she was a makeup disaster on their date, making him chuckle inside. He asked Julia for makeup assistance, and she agreed while saying she was nervous her hands were shaking like a maraca. All Julia had to do was poke a little, and Ru'an would go out of commission, but she was beginning to rethink that risk. She looked out at the colourful world outside, dreamy and all, and decided it was safer to stay right here. So Julia didn't scare Ru'an, and breezed through the test. Seems her reflexes were quicker than she thought. Ru'an brought up Julia's risky plan, ready to retaliate against the shadowy boyfriend. Little Horse wasn't exactly the good guy. He turned Julia's place into a prison scene, thoroughly misleading Little Horse. What an artistic move. Don't ask how the food got scattered. You think this is a web series or something. Ru'an pretends that Julia gets all her food and drinks here and mysteriously hides the dagger. Who said he doesn't understand disguise? Everything was set, waiting for Little Horse to roll in. This plan was like a choreographed dance. The aim was to watch Little Horse tie up Julia, while he eagerly prepared for the rescue show nearby. But Ru'an also has his doubts about the plan's success, as it all depended on Julia's performance. Was it guilt or the desire for freedom? Total challenge for the heart. Yet Ru'an underestimated Little Horse, who was erupting like a volcano, suspecting Julia was the fire starter. Little Horse was punching and kicking over his missing wife, not caring at all about Ru'an's attitude. He flipped faster than a book. Ru'an couldn't take it anymore. He jumped to mediate and encouraged Julia to propose a divorce. Little Horse instantly exploded. Intimidation and violence didn't drive Julia away. Instead, it made her hesitate about loosening the ropes. But just then, an alarm rang from outside, and Black Girl witnessed the whole scene, ready to document this show. Little Horse fell into the abyss, while Ru'an and Julia were taken by the cops for questioning. Show's over, catch you behind the stage. Facing Black Girl's challenges, Ru'an kept his cool, showing off his journalist identity. What a light. He mentioned that ever since he got Little Horse's threatening call, he felt something big was going down, resulting in exposing the kidnapping case. Julia learned about Little Horse's death and sighed in relief, immediately shifting all blame onto him. What a relief. But things weren't so simple. Black Girl discovered that the knife was custom-made, enough to remind anyone of a savvy carpenter. Black Girl traced the clue, uncovering Julia's father's secret, leaving Ru'an feeling a wave of embarrassment. Black Girl's boss got impatient and interrupted her. It was jaw-dropping. Was he going to mess up the report? All evidence pointed that Little Horse was no longer a secret. Black Girl felt more and more dissatisfied, but the plan was still in full swing. Black Girl kept it discreet, and the truth is, Ru'an and Julia were released because of her skills. The next day, Sam arrived like a chauffeur to pick Ru'an up, mainly to borrow a car, but ended up moving Julia. However, when she returned home, the police had already surrounded the entrance. What a surprise guest. Seeing Ru'an arrive, Anthony told her that Julia hadn't returned, and anxiety started creeping in. Then, urgent knocks echoed from outside, and when she opened the door, guess who popped in? It was Julia. Because they lied together, they became tacit allies. Julia was overthinking things. Ru'an's heart was filled with regret, feeling that bringing Julia to the bar turned into a passionate night. After drinking, Julia realized she had escaped domestic violence, wanting to shout freedom. They started becoming the closest of allies, but at that moment, an uninvited guest was quietly closing in. Black Girl barged into Ru'an's house, searching everywhere, fulfilling her own detective mission. Then she opened the big refrigerator, found it completely empty, and relaxed. But then she discovered a clue in Ru'an's room. What an exciting twist. The repair shop surveillance USB drive. This is it. Black Girl felt triumphant. Ru'an and Julia were on a high rise welcoming the sunrise, discussing bright futures just like a movie scene. Julia was feeling a bit confused. Having just been freed from the curse, she found it somewhat challenging to adapt to her new surroundings. Ru'an's mind was clear, but didn't know how to handle her feelings. What a pickle. Just when she opened the door, Black Girl popped up, becoming her personal bodyguard. Black Girl was there for a face-to-face showdown, quietly staying overnight, ready to face Ru'an. She said Ru'an would lose legal protection while she illegally obtained evidence. What a resounding irony. Law is ruthless, but Black Girl reminded that once your character is set, there's no turning back. If you enjoy this humorous version, don't forget to like and subscribe for more laughs to come.